This video is going to be an interesting one as we're going to be talking about the semi-automatic sniper rifles that are currently inside Warzone to see if they're actually any good. If you do enjoy stats breakdown videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 50k subscribers. Also, click that link in the description down below and subscribe to our second channel as well. We do post extra content over there. But like I said, this video is all about the semi-automatic sniper rifles. Now, these are not all that popular inside Warzone at the moment. And for good reason. They're not amazing weapons, but we're trying to figure out if they are usable inside Warzone. Now, the weapons we're talking about here is the ones you'll see on screen just now, which is the Rytek AMR with the following build. You'll see the build on screen. Then we've also got the Gorenko Anti Tank rifle from Vanguard, which is the following build, which is what you see on screen just now. The rest of the attachments don't really kind of do much to help this weapon out, and it also doesn't really have length in here either. So realistically, that is the best kind of setup. You might want to use maybe FMJ for it, just to use up some attachment slots. Then when it comes to the other two, we've got the Dragunov, which we all know, no one really uses this gun. And then we've also got the M82. So all this data is taken from the sim.gg website, so definitely keep that in mind, and we're going to be going over a lot of the stats from this, but we've pulled it out from the website and put it on a spreadsheet just because there's a lot of other stats around it and it kind of makes it very cluttered so you can't see it too well, and we want to focus on these three main stats just to begin with. So that is why we've pulled these out. So when it comes to the meta bullet velocities, meta just means it's the meta builds for the weapons that I showed you earlier on, but the bullet velocity for these weapons is now changed because we're looking at the muzzle velocity. So this is as it pretty much exits the gun, whereas previously when we were talking about true game data and even our own testing previously to this, we were looking at the bullet velocities over range, and the bullet velocity does diminish over range with these weapons, and we'll go on to talk about that a little bit later on in this video as well. But as you can see here, in terms of the initial bullet velocity for this gun, the Gorenko rifle is the best. Then we've got the Cold War M82, then the Dragunov, which is quite surprising, and then the Rytek, which is the worst, and it's actually got a really bad bullet velocity because anything below 1,100 in my opinion is going to be a bad bullet velocity for a sniper rifle. Then we've got the ADSs for these guns, and as you can see, the Gorenko rifle is actually the slowest. So again, with the meta build, and we're trying to use some attachments that actually help with ADS, it's still the slowest ADS at the bunch. Then the Rytek's the next slowest, then you've got the M82, and then the Dragunov is actually the quickest when it comes to ADSing. Now we've got tac sprint to fire time, and this is actually important on sniper rifles as this allows you to understand how long it's going to take you to get your gun down to actually take a shot off, especially if you're being a more aggressive sniper. Now, none of these guns are really aggressive snipers, but I just thought I'd add this here so you could see it. But the M82 from Cold War is actually the fastest when it comes to the tac sprint to fire time and even the standard sprint to fire time. Now we're moving on to the website itself, and what we've got here is the time to kill for all of these sniper rifles. Now, obviously we need to factor in the rate of fires of these weapons as well, but sometimes when it comes to the semi-automatic rifles, they're not very accurate, and none of them, in my opinion, if you spam fired them, are accurate at all. And we can take a look into that in just a moment as well. And we're looking at chest shots here when it comes to the TTKs, but what you can see here is the Dragunov is actually the fastest in terms of TTK, which might surprise you because the Dragunov is actually trash, but because it does have that faster fire rate, it does then have a faster TTK. Then we've got the Rytek, which is the next fastest, and again it's because it's got the next fastest fire rate. Then we've got the Gorenko rifle, and then we've got the M82. But one thing that might surprise you quite a lot actually is that even with these meta builds, the damage does drop off quite a lot with these weapons, at around 80 meters or so, and a little bit earlier with the M82 as well. So even though you didn't think it would drop off, it does. The only one that doesn't is the Rytek, but keep in mind that's got the worst possible bullet velocity out of all of these. So speaking of shots to kill, we've got the number of bullets to kill here as well. And what I do want to show you here is that every single one of these sniper rifles, up to about 75 meters, are a 2-shot kill if you're landing it to the upper chest, which is an important shot location because if you miss your headshot, the next likely place that you're going to be landing that shot, especially due to the bullet velocities as well, is going to be the upper chest. It's going to be a 2-shot kill for every sniper other than the Rytek, which is actually pretty insane considering it's got one of the worst bullet velocities as well. After that 75 meters, every single one of these snipers becomes a 3-shot kill to the upper chest. Now, when it comes to lower torso and extremities, every single one of these snipers is going to be a 3-shot kill if you land only extremity shots other than the Dragunov, and this is why it's not a very good gun, because the rest are a bit more consistent in terms of TTK because they do have that 3-shot kill potential. The Dragunov is just a really bad gun in terms of damage profiles overall. And the last thing I want to show you is something that we couldn't really take a look into before, and that is bullet drop. And bullet drop is an important stat when it comes to sniper rifles, and in testing this in game is a very difficult thing to do, to see where your bullet actually lands, to get a good gauge of where it's actually landing above other weapons. But what we can see here is that the M82 from Cold War has actually got the best possible bullet drop, so the higher up it is more likely to land where you're actually aiming the shot. Then we've got the Rytek, which surprisingly, even though it has one of the worst bullet velocities, is actually got the second best bullet drop. So bullet velocity doesn't mean absolutely everything when bullet drop isn't as bad, but it's still a weird thing because you're going to expect your shot to take a lot longer to hit the target. So the Rytek is still a bit of a weird weapon. Then we've got the Gorenko rifle, and then we do have the Dragunov. So the next thing I want to take a look at is actually kind of like the spammability of this gun, or the kind of recentering of the actual snipers themselves. So we're using the base guns here just to get a fair comparison. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold the steady aim. And as you can see, it takes such a while to recenter, but it doesn't even recenter back to its original point where I aimed. It kind of sways down at the bottom down here a little bit. So we'll do that one more time. And it kind of recenters down at the bottom right, even though I've aimed in the center of this yellow part. We'll do that one more time. And as you can see, it's kind of recentering back in the red and the blue here. So it doesn't really recenter exactly where you originally aimed, which is an annoying thing. So let's try the exact same thing with the Rytek as well, see how this works as well, because this is a really important factor when it comes to kind of like the spammability of the guns, like I said. So aiming in the yellow once again. And as you can see, kind of recenters above now, above in the red and the blue here. So we'll do that one more time. So now it's actually off the target entirely, kind of moving towards, back towards the kind of blue section. And one last time. Again, recenters right away from the weapon, so it doesn't come back down. So here we are now doing the exact same test with the Dragunov sniper. So we're going to aim down sights, aim in the yellow. And as you can see, this recenters a little bit better than the other one, so it kind of comes back into the kind of orange as well as the red here. But we'll do it one more time. So back in the yellow this time, which is really, really handy. And then again one more time. Back in the red and sort of the orange kind of here. So the recentering of the Dragunov is probably one of the best so far. So the last one we need to test is the M82 from Cold War. So we're aiming in the yellow. And it kind of recenters back in the orange and the yellow here. We'll try it one more time. Back in the orange and the yellow. So again, really good recentering. And one more time. Back in the orange and the yellow. It's kind of slightly down to the left though as well. So after all the testing done, in my opinion, the M82 from Cold War is the best semi-automatic sniper rifle. It's got a good damage profile, which allows you to get a 1-hit headshot and 2 hits to the upper chest. It does have good bullet velocity, not the best out of the bunch. It also has a good ADS time, once again, not the best out of the bunch. But it also has the best bullet drop and some of the best recentering when it comes to any of these semi-automatic sniper rifles. If you did enjoy this style of content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we try to reach our goal of 50k subscribers. Click that link in the description down below and subscribe to our second channel, and thank you very much for watching.